This is a Danger Entertainment podcast. DangerEntertainment.net. Danger Entertainment Podcast Network.
Life sucks to the last drop. Are you gonna blow your head off? Take good aim and don't forget to duck. Life sucks every Monday and all the way to Sunday, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't care how you're doing, what's up or how's it hanging. I'd like to buy this world one last drink. And life sucks all of the time. Stick it up your sunshine, and then you'll see the clouds every day. And then you'll see the clouds every day. And then you'll see the clouds every day.
Welcome to the Crazy Life, everybody. My name's Jen. I am your hostess for the evening. And with me, as always, we have Brian and Hello.
Howdy.
Hey.
The gang's all here.
Yep.
So, how are you guys? What have you been up to? How's the weeks been?
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah. I goofed.
You goofed?
Yeah, because last week was actually a recording.
Oh,
week. I
oh,
totally
yeah.
forgot.
Mhm.
I didn't
Sorry,
think of it
folks, we're
until,
late.
what was it, Sunday when I texted you guys? I was like, oh, I kind of forgot. So, whoopsies.
Yeah. Sorry, folks, we're late. I know that's very dangerous now that, the political arena is what it is. But I promise we will try to be more on time going
Sure.
forward.
You've said that before. Your promises mean nothing.
I have.
Let's talk about that text message where I was informed that we're gonna try to go weekly again.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, ambitious.
Yeah. That lasted like 2 weeks. Yeah.
I think we did
You did 2 in a row, and you're like, we're on a roll.
Yeah. Yep.
I do have a defense though for last week. So I don't know. Do you guys? Who wants to go first?
Yeah.
I think you should go first and tell us of your defense.
Yeah.
All right. Here's my defense. I had 4 social functions within 1 week.
Wow.
All right.
Plus worked every single day, full shifts.
Mm.
It was so many social functions that I actually had to go out and buy a new dress because I did not have enough appropriate clothes to go to work and all these functions.
I thought you might have worn it out.
She
Worn
did.
out.
Special.
She did. She wore it out when she went out with people.
Oh, you're right.
That's right.
No, it was actually really an amazing test of my new medicine, which I think I mentioned.
Yes.
Flintstones
That would be
fighting.
a test.
Yep.
And I feel completely comfortable now saying, folks, they put me on Calypta. It's CALYPTA, I believe. But it's called Calypta. It's fairly new to the market. It is designed for bipolar specifically. So it handles both the lows and the highs.
Yeah. I saw a commercial actually for it the other day. I think they said it's for bipolar 1 and 2. Which is something most of the medicines are not for. And really quick, I want to point out our lawyers are making us say, just because Jen is finding success with this drug does not mean it's the correct medicine for you. And also, we're not doctors, trained professionals, blah, blah, blah. So please consult your physician, blah, blah, blah.
Yada, yada.
Exactly. Please do. The only reason I'm mentioning is because it is fairly new to the market.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do not have experiences with it.
Right.
But I will share that my experience based solely on me and my opinions alone, which are opinions, it has worked very well for me. It does make you sleep. So if you're going to go on it, I highly recommend taking it right before bed, literally right as you're getting into bed, because it takes about 5 to 10 minutes to hit the system, and then you're out like a light, and you sleep super deep. So, yeah, even tornado sirens do not wake you up.
Right.
It's been tested.
Yeah. I believe you did tell us about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my Kansas trip. So, but yeah, it's actually doing really, really well. I had no social hangovers. Finally on Sunday, I felt my brain trying to do let's recap everything we said and did the night before and criticize and beat you up for it. My brain was trying. Couldn't get there. Calypto's pretty much, see squirrel. I'm like, ooh, squirrel. And then we were off on a whole nother tangent. So, yeah, it did its job well. So I'm definitely encouraging you to make sure that you're talking with your doctors, making sure you explore all of the different drugs and new drugs coming onto the market. If something's not working for you, make a suggestion to your doctor. It's about having an open conversation. And if they're not willing to have an open conversation with you about your health and what's going on with your body, then you need to maybe shop around and see if you can find someone who's a little bit better match for you. So that being said, I did change my psychiatrist, hence the new med. I think I mentioned it on one of the prior podcasts.
Yeah.
But I was with someone for 10 years who was an older gentleman. And I ended up having to switch, and my new psychiatrist is a younger person. And I think it was not necessarily an age thing, but I just think that having a different set of eyes on my situation was able to really shed some light into some different directions that we could go to. So just make sure you're having those open, honest conversations with your physicians, is what I'm encouraging. Another fun thing that I've been doing is I've been dating, as folks have probably heard throughout the show, last few episodes and stuff. But I have been actively dating, and as a good close friend of mine who's probably listening to the show and is probably going to laugh at this, she flat out told me, "You're really good at relationshiping. You suck at dating." And I really took that to heart because I started thinking about it and I'm like, she's really right. Because every time I'm meeting someone with the end game in my head.
Yeah.
It's like, can there be an end game with this person? And what do I need to tell them to prepare them for this end game? And it's all been focused on the end game. And when she mentioned that to me, I call them truth bombs. I have very close friends that like to lay them on me. She is one of them. So she gave me that little truth bomb, and it literally rocked me. Because then I started thinking about my approach and how I was going about meeting different people. And it really kind of started forming a different thought process to the whole thing. Then another good friend of mine dropped another thought bomb on me because I was talking with them and I mentioned the fact that I'm very open about my bipolar and other issues that I work through, and from the very beginning. And he stopped me. He's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Well, these are very important, big things of my life. So who I'm going to be with kind of needs to know them." And he's like, "Yeah, but why right away?" He's like, "They don't need to know that right away. Mm-hmm. They need to know you. Yes, it's part of you. It's a big part of you, but it's not you. You know, you're not, 'Hi, I'm bipolar, I'm Jen.' You're 'Hi, I'm Jen, who happens to have bipolar.'"
Right.
He's, and I
see, now these two things make more sense to me from the standpoint of the whole idea that, you're great at relationships, lousy at dating, because you're in the outcome at the start of the date. And
yes.
Now it makes more sense why you would push some of that stuff up front, is because those are big outcome kind of topics. And if you're focused on outcome, then you're hitting those big topics right off the bat. And to me, I guess that's part of dating, but it's not part of doing. Like, if you just want to go out on a do and just hang out with people and enjoy, people's company and get to know them over a period of time, you don't need those big topics, because Yeah, it's about the focus. I think that when I was talking to you earlier before we started recording about like, okay, what's the motive? That makes more sense. If
Yeah.
if your motive is not to just get to know people and have a good time doing things with people, you know, then you are going to be throwing out those big, huge topics right up front. But if you just want to, you know, do and get to know, then the doc's right. It's like, why even bring that up? It's not important. And I think that would be helpful in becoming better at staying out of the outcomes. You know, you're instead of walking into the first date with the lifetime of future in mind, you're just walking in the first date for the first date. You know,
I like to lead off asking them what their funeral arrangements are. That's
exactly.
you know,
See, now this is good.
yeah,
I like this.
you know,
just go right to end of life kind of topics. So how would you feel about holding my hand while I was on a respirator?
Do you have a living will? Yeah, you know, like
yes.
that
Do
kind
you
of
have
stuff.
a living will? Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Are your affairs in order? Oh wait,
Yeah,
now it's starting to sound murdery.
yeah, exactly. What are your thoughts and feelings on moving to Oregon?
Yeah.
I guarantee JKL is cracking up right now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's my. I have not had this much growth in insight, in self-awareness in years. I mean, it's just hitting me like just waves of just all this self-awareness. And each time I'm meeting someone, I'm slightly adjusting my expectations and adjusting really and understanding who I am, who I want them to know, and what's truly important to me. You know, I'm not a very political person by nature. In fact, I'm not a huge talker of politics.
You're really
I get
not,
bored
because
with it.
all the time we were together and I'd be like, politics, and you're like,
Yeah. But I've realized and I've learned and grown through the last, you know, few years, as well as being single. And I realized it's not the politics of it. It's the feeling behind it. You know, when I say I'm socially liberal, I'm not saying I'm a political liberal in that term.
Yeah.
I'm meaning more of, I love people. And truly, if it's not illegal and it's not going to negatively affect my life and my world, you be you, boo. You do whatever you want to do that makes you happy. I don't care who you love, other than I think it's wonderful and I want to be your friends. And if you're happy and you're fulfilled, then you're going to be a better, more productive person in the society. So kudos to you. You get out and you do what you want to do. And I need to be someone who appreciates that. You know, as I found, the best way I found to kind of put it is, I'm a very outgoing and quirky person. And I need someone who is with me that finds it endearing and supports me. Not someone who's irritated by it or tries to hold me back.
Yeah. Well, I think that's good move anyway, right? Like, you should be with somebody who finds you endearing and not trying to hold you back. Those are, you know, those are just good moves no matter what. So it's good to come around on that.
Exactly. The thing I'm working on right now is, I found I have a tendency to see what I want to see and make up the gaps in my head versus seeing who the person actually is.
Yeah.
So basically, I walk around with beer goggles all the time.
Well, that is what our brains do by nature anyway.
Yeah.
Our brains really do try to fill the gaps in and see what we're, you know, what they want to see, and lie to us like, you know, jerks all the time.
Yes. Jerks that they are.
Yeah.
But so I'm really fighting hard to say, okay, truly listen to what this person is saying. Watch their actions. How are they making you feel? How are you reacting? Even if they're not doing anything necessarily negative, how are you reacting to their energy? Are you feeling like you have to be less that you have to tone yourself down, that you have to watch what you're saying, the words that you're using. Are you choosing not to express your opinion because you don't think it's a safe place to express your opinion? All of these things are very important things that I'm finding out about myself. Nothing to do with anybody else but me and how I feel, how I'm thinking, and that moment. And going forward from that, such a different way of thinking than I've ever been.
Yeah.
You know, it's just another piece that I'm working on is not being a chameleon and finding my own likes and dislikes and not assuming those of whoever I'm with, which is another kind of tricky one that I'm trying to stay very self-aware about. And, shoot, I had another one, but I lost it. But those are big ones anyways. So you get the point, folks. So it's really been a self journey and some quirky people. You know, like you said, I do not judge. Just say that it's not for me. You know, we've had some definite interesting folks, but I always leave them with the same thing. I hope you find your person you're looking for. Because we all know there's a person out there for everybody.
Yep.
There you go. So that's my week. That's my weeks. Thankfully, I have a weekend. This is right before the 4th of July, folks. I'm dating us. It's a fairly quiet weekend, and I have a date with Anchor, who is a Labradoodle. And Anchor is not my biggest fan. We have an agreement. I fill his bowl. Great. I give him treats. He'll sit on the couch next to me and give me the side eye. He'll let me pet him a few times. But we're not cuddling. We're not mistaking this for a real relationship here. Because his parents will come home. So, you know, he's not going to be disloyal to his people.
Right. Yeah.
He will let me watch him and feed him, but that's about it.
Well, I think that's fair. As long as everyone understands the agreement going in, you know, it's...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, we're on the same page. Whenever I sit a dog, I always let them dictate where a relationship's going to be.
Yeah.
So he, right off the front, dictated where a relationship's going to be, and I accept that. I do not push it. I do not force it. You know, he's welcome to cuddle on my lap, but he chooses not to. And I said, okay. No means no. I agree.
Boundaries, exactly. Respect.
It's all about the boundaries.
Yeah.
All right, guys, who's next?
I'll go next. So I still haven't made my appointment for my psychiatric or psych evaluation for ADHD yet. You know, it's only been like 3 weeks. You know, really posting up on that one, getting things taken care of. Jeez. Part of it's I keep forgetting, and then when I remember, it's, you know, well after business hours, and I hate the fact that there isn't a way to accommodate people who have these type of anxieties. You know, like my doctor's office, I can send an email to them basically requesting an appointment, but I can't just make an appointment. You know, it'd be really nice if you could, like, if you just went on there, like the place I go for my glasses, you can, like, their schedule is whatever, and you plug yourself into whatever is open. You know, so, and it was like, this would be fantastic. Like, I would make all of my appointments right away if I had these options. So, you know, but, so yeah, I need to do that because I keep putting that off. I need to get that sorted out. Yeah, I went and had I finally had a checkup or a follow-up after being put on the testosterone pill that I've been put on. And once again, my body is allowing it to work too well, so I have to go off of it for a little while and then have blood work done again and go donate some blood in the meantime. And hopes that kind of thins my hemoglobin back out.
So does that make you a bro if you have too much testosterone in your system?
Sure, you know.
You start saying dude a lot.
No, I say bro all the time. Yeah.
Just bro.
Bro.
Gotcha.
Bro.
Things are tight.
Yeah.
Everything's tight.
For sure. Yeah. So so I had that today, and it was very weird, a very odd story, and I apologize in advance if this grosses anybody out. But, when I had my blood drawn, usually they also take a urine sample, and they didn't. And, so today at the doctor's office, they were like, hey, we need that. Okay, no problem. So the doctor comes in, and while we're talking, he just casually starts putting gloves on. And first of all, I'm kind of like, hey, what's going on here? Like, I haven't, you didn't even buy me lunch or anything. But, and then he just, just opens up the urine sample, and he's got this like test strip, and he's just, just dipping it right in there. And I'm like, what the heck is he doing? And it was like, and then you look and he goes, oh yeah, everything's good. And then I was just like, I've never had that happen before. I've never had it like while I'm right there. They're just like, yeah, it was good, So I was like, okay, well, I'm glad to hear that, because that, there's numbers they're looking for I think for what is it, like BPA, I think it is, or whatever, which can be a potential marker of prostate cancer or something along those lines. So, they're keeping an eye on stuff like that, but it was just kind of funny to me because I was just very much like, what is he doing? Like, more so like I just had no idea what he was doing because, I've never had them do that before. So, but it was, I'm glad my body is so receptive to the testosterone, but I wish it would just be like, okay, let's just, let's process this the way it's supposed to be processed. Not, okay, testosterone comes in, thick blood goes out. It's like, what? No, like, so, but whatever. It's been long enough. I haven't donated blood since COVID. So, well, once I did. I'm sorry, I think. So it's been long enough now that I kind of been wanting to anyway, because, I am a very good, what am I, O positive or whatever the heck it is. So, I'm one that they hound all the time for blood. So,
me too.
Yeah. And it's
not O positive, but me too. I get hounded.
So, it's something I'd like to do anyway, more frequently, like as I can. So, always good for that, and if it helps me in the long run, that's even better. So I got to do that. And other than that, I've really just been doing nothing. I've been just awful at doing anything because it's been too hot out a lot of the days to really go do anything. I've had a good amount of allergies going on. One of the days I walked outside, and I wasn't even outside for like 2 seconds, and I just started sneezing my head off. And I was like, oh boy, I may have to double up on the Claritin, or not Claritin, whatever it is I take, Zyrtec. Like I may have to take another one of these because I'm feeling it. And I looked, I'm like,
pollen counts have been through the roof.
Yeah, I was going to say, I happened to look, and I was like, oh yeah, there's actually a warning on the weather app, like, stupid high pollen today. So I was like, oh, fun.
A little note, sorry to take
fine.
us off topic for just a second. A friend of mine pointed this out to me, and it's something I can never forget, so I must share it with others because it'll stick in your head. Excuse me for going slightly off color, folks.
Oh, boy.
Basically, he referred to the giant influx of pollen as a giant plant bukkake party.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Ever since I thought about that, I'm like, I obviously cannot, every single time I see pollen, I cannot get that out of my head. So There you go, folks. I passed it on, so now you can enjoy it as well. So continue on, Brian. Sorry.
Right. So it's, that's been rough. So even just going out, even like, to go grab something to eat or something like that, and I go outside, and I'm like, oh, I'm miserable, because it punches you right in the face as soon as you go outside. My medicine's working okay, but it's just been high enough that, the count's been so high that I can feel the difference, and when I get back home and get in the air conditioning, it's like, oh, I can breathe again. So yeah, that's been a good time. But that's really been about it for me. I really haven't done much. I told Tony the other night when we were recording Salty Language that I realized that where we're at with that show and this show, that I'm basically about 900 episodes of podcasting. And, it's like, geez, that's so much. And then
That's amazing, though.
Yesterday on Twitter, I saw, Salty Language's Twitter account just yesterday was its 11th birthday. So, it's like, man, it's just, it's so long ago when we started it. So it's kind of overwhelming in, looking back at how many episodes that is. To do 900 of
you actually
anything.
are the reason. You're the reason I got into podcasting, because I got jealous and I wanted to do it myself. So watching you and Tony look like it was so much fun that I needed to be a part of it. So.
Fooled you. No.
Thank you. You got me started.
So, yeah. So that's, I think that's it for me. So how about you, Henno?
Well, I've had a bunch of gigs over the last few weeks. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just a lot of music. We actually, for the benefit for the Men's Second Chance Living House, we did pretty good for the house. They split the end of the night, the money from the raffle and the beer sales and everything go between whoever's the nonprofit and the band. And the band did pretty good, so the nonprofit did pretty good.
Cool.
Which is great.
Yeah. It's
funny how the show with where we're doing the fundraiser, we typically make more money than the places when we pay for profit. So, go figure.
Yeah.
But then we just did a little block party over at Tom's house, and we actually had pretty good turnout for that. And yeah, it's just been nice, kind of we really getting into our new songs. I was really excited about just working on some background vocals and really nailing them. The bummer part is Tom had he had one of those nights where he was just off, and nobody in the audience is ever going to know about it.
Right.
But it was in his head.
Oh, for
and
sure.
And I know that I've had those gigs.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, do you guys notice if he's off?
Only I notice mistakes.
Okay.
Right. And I know, and when it's more about the reaction to everybody else, I think that's more noticeable. Like, so for example, and I'll use myself as an example, not him.
Yeah.
When I'm off, if something happens that ends up being not my fault, I'm more like, what are you guys doing?
Oh, okay.
Because I'm already a little critical of myself, and I end up critical of others.
Okay.
And then I feel really bad about it. And it just feeds off things. That's I think the place where like I notice when I know the songs inside and out, so I'm gonna know when someone didn't play something a certain way or whatever it was like that.
Yeah.
But that could be for any reason. The good news, the audience never notices that.
Right.
They just don't. So.
Yeah.
And it was fun because when we did the block party, there were a few people there that were on Wednesday, and I just said, hey, what did you think? And they, I had a great time, because when we did the block party, Tom was like, yes, he just felt way better, and like redemption. And to be honest, it wasn't really that much different, and that's where it's very subjective.
Right.
It's just so subjective. But the way you feel is the way you feel.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Yep.
That's all there is to it.
Because you're right. Like, I've heard other musicians talk about it on podcasts and stuff, or comedians, where they're like, "Oh yeah, I just went out there and ate dirt, but the crowd was really into it and blah blah blah." And it's like, so I'm the only one who knew basically that I screwed up the delivery or whatever. So yeah that's cool.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's been really great work. For some reason, I've been really feeling motivated, which I've been enjoying. I've been trying to do a certain project. The weird thing is that I keep screwing up, like in pretty significant ways. And I was telling Frank today, as I had like my third screw up, and where I'm just like I didn't order the right thing, or I didn't notice that I needed to do this, or whatever it was. And I said, if I just wasn't such an arrogant,
jerk,
that and judgmental of other people's mess ups sometimes.
Yeah.
Barely, that it would feel a little less horrible. But it allows
your walk, huh?
It just allows me to laugh at myself. It really does. And it's just a reminder that, when I got one finger pointed at you, there are 3 others pointed at me.
Now, see, that's why I always use my whole hand to point at someone when I blame
all the fingers are pointed at you.
They're all pointing at them.
Yeah. That's a sound strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes you feel less guilty about stuff.
If you need more tips to feed your arrogance, I'm your guy.
There you go. Had a great weekend. Last weekend went to Lava Hot Springs, and even though we were at the hot springs, so first of all, I have never been there in the summertime.
Oh, okay.
So they have this they have an Olympic-sized swimming pool with the Olympic-sized high dive platforms.
Oh my!
Right, so the deep end is like,
deep,
and I mean they're serious Olympic platforms. And then what they do, they got water slides all around it.
Oh, nice!
And they're amazing water slides. Like one water slide actually goes across the road and
wow.
into the pool, right? And I've never actually seen people at the water slides. So all of a sudden I was like, wait, I only come here in like the wintertime and like early spring. So I wasn't ready for the sheer volume of people that were there.
Oh,
which is a little. But the good news is we got a cute little cottage and we just kind of hung out, and there was no pressure to go out. We bought our own groceries to just make food at the little VRBO, and went soaking in the hot pools one night, and then on the way back went to this butterfly haven that if you go check out my Facebook, my Instagram, I have lots of photos of the butterfly haven. Yeah. This was an experience. I loved it.
Yeah. There's some really cool looking butterflies. You got pictures of them there. Yeah.
It was awesome. Yeah. It was really awesome. So we had a great time, and I was with Kiki and Brianna, and there's a picture of them up there. So if you ever want to know what they look like, there's some photos on there on Facebook. We just had a really wonderful time. So it was nice to have a little getaway, and it is fun to be around people that we're all on the same page. Like it was okay for me to just hang out and play guitar while they were coloring or something, and it's just nice to not have that pressure. Like we have to go do something. We're here, it's like, no, we don't.
Yeah. Right. It's funny. It's like in life, everybody's like, go, 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 and then they get on vacation and it's go, go, go. It's like, it feels like it should be the opposite way. Like, yo, I'm on vacation. I want to sit.
Yeah.
But I get it. When you're in a new place, you want to see things and whatever, but the pressure is crazy.
There's like river rafting going on, and the thing with the river rafting though is like I see the truck coming up with the trailer behind it. So imagine a flatbed trailer that they just, I don't know, welded or clamped down 6 standard kind of kitchen chairs on the back with no seatbelts.
Oh my!
And
you ran down the highway.
Wow.
Like, not my,
Wow. That's on the show Ridiculousness, they have a segment that Rob Deerdeck calls Redneck Good Times, and that sure sounds like one of those.
That's right in there. Yeah, that's pretty much, that's a recipe for that. But the one thing...
There's a family... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, there's a family photo the first time we went whitewater rafting, and I kept bouncing out of the raft because I was so light at the time. And there's a picture of the raft guide grabbing me by the life vest and pulling in the action of pulling me back into the raft. It's one of the family favorites, and I'm like, because it's fun, but it's very redneck.
The whole, especially if the whole thing is kind of like that. Yeah. So I'm going to connect back to our last episode in order to introduce our topic, because our last episode, I talked about how much I was focusing on our recording and getting, the album done and prioritizing and saying, well, I don't want to do this. I'm going to focus on this. And when it came time for gigging, it's again like, okay, I got gigs coming up. I don't need your opinion, Benny. Yeah, you're not part of this conversation, dude. Okay, so simmer down. And when I had, I'm still doing some recording work with a friend of mine, and I just told him, I said, I got gigs coming up, and he was like, so does that mean? And I'm like, no, that means I'm not doing anything. I'm focusing on the gigs. This is where my time is going.
Yeah.
And I felt good about that. I got to the gigs, and in the meantime, I'm doing all the things I do around my house. It's springtime, and looking at gotta get the cars out of the garage. Like, wow, look amazing. Let's sell one of these things. Just all that stuff. All that stuff still has to go on, but I still focused on one thing. And when I got to the gig, so my friend John Inman, who has listened to the show, and we were actually talking about it. He's like, man, he and I share very similar political beliefs. He said, lately I've just been like, I need to do something away from politics. So I checked out The Crazy Life, and I really enjoyed it. I was like, oh, awesome, man. And I said, John, I'd love to have you on, because John was the kind of the house manager for Men's Second Chance Living. And at the same time, he was going back to school, or he was going to school, and he just told me he graduated with his master's degree, and he's now left Men's Second Chance Living and is working as a counselor.
Awesome.
And yeah, so he's whatever, he's a licensed social worker, whatever it is, and it was, and John's the kind of guy that every time he and I get together, we're brothers in sobriety, and we're also people that love music. We love, we have all these passions, and when I see John, I see a man that has maintained all of his passion for life, and a new chance at life. And we always share some little tidbit of information. And so he was telling me about that. I think it was at the Wellness Festival up here. Sharon had been working on that for a whole week, and as a volunteer coordinator. And John he said he went to one of the speakers, and she basically just said, well, balance is BS. It's all about harmony. And so John conveyed this to me, and I went, oh, I like this. Because I was like, oh, maybe I should have you on to talk about this. But I went, no, I'd rather when John comes over to my house and we do a Crazy Life, I want him to share about having a second life. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, all right, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to start a new career. I'm going to, and I don't care how old I am. This is what I want to do. Like, and that's what that's a conversation I want to have with him.
Yeah,
that's inspiring.
Sure. Yeah.
So I thought right off the bat, I was like, you know what? It isn't about balance. It's not. It's about harmony. It's when I try to balance. All right. So the one thing that comes up a lot you hear on, especially on podcasts with musicians. So how do you do work-life balance? Work-life balance. How do you balance? And it's like, when I really think about it, when I try to balance everything gets a tiny bit of my attention.
I was just going to say balance really is.
Yeah, you can't multitask.
Exactly.
Everyone says you can. You cannot multitask.
Yeah. What it's really about is harmony.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, we got to have some sort of a link in our show. So I found I found the one article that was also calling BS on the concept, and it's from Divine, and looks like a great website for inspiration and optimism. It looks like they have some podcasts, and so they start with that. It's not about balance; it's about harmony. Why I gave up pursuit of work-life balance. It's perfect. And I love this. I've struggled for years to perfect the modal image of balance, work-life balance, balance in moderation, balance in yoga. And in parentheses, I still fail at that.
I was going to say, I think you are looking for balance in yoga, aren't you?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe not.
Work hard to play hard. So there's a perfect balance of time spent working and time spent living, so to speak. Time and time again, I find myself strung too tightly, worn too thin, and failing at what I think balance should be. At the end of my perfectly balanced day, a year seemingly defined by the perfect balance of work, travel, people, hobbies, I'm tired. I'm unfulfilled. I feel like I can barely keep my head above water, and I'm calling BS on this concept of balance. I love this. And then the article goes on to give you some examples, But I think the one thing is balance indicates perfectly equal parts of everything, like an equation. 50% of this, 25% of that, 25% for me, 25% for important people, 25% for spirituality and faith. Put in a whole bunch of different things. What are you trying to balance? That just sounds terrible. So what did I do over the last couple weeks? I didn't balance, but I put things into harmony. That's how I feel. I said, this is what I want to focus on. And the harmony comes in being honest with the people around me that I said, I don't have time this week. I have time, we can do this in 2 weeks once I'm done. But it was about being in the moment with what I was doing. And it was about making sure I set aside, time for the things that were very important. And then I focused on the thing I wanted to focus on, but I did it in a way that did not cause, disharmony is, I think, the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
My doctor.
Right?
Yeah. My doctor once described, because with my bipolar, she once described it as picture a teeter-totter, and you've got your highs and your lows on either end. Right now, your teeter-totter is going clunk, 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 because you're out of whack. It's not that smooth motion of up and down. I said, okay. She said, but if you take too much medicine and it's even keel, you're flatlined. And no one's having any fun. Nobody likes flatline. The fun of the teeter-totter is going up and down. So you have to find that perfect, not balance, because balance would be flat, but that perfect bounce back and forth.
Well, that's harmony.
Yeah. Yep. And that's exactly what I was thinking when you were saying that. I'm like, that makes so much sense. Because if you try to balance everything.
Yeah, balance is static.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's boring. It doesn't work. It's not good. But if you can work in harmony, and that's what I found that analogy can be used in so many different ways. Like I've even used it in relationships. When you're in a relationship with someone, is fairly never equal.
Oh, never.
One person's having a crisis, so you help on that person and focus on that person. Next time the other person is having the crisis, and so you're over here and everybody's focused on this person. It's never going to be equal, but
even in compromise.
Harmony.
In compromising, you're not
together.
You're generally not 50-50 when it comes to compromising. It usually ends up being 70-30 or whatever, but in the end it's like, but we're still kind of moving the same way. We're still kind of vibing, so
that's why the teeter-totter is a great example, is because in the process of the activity, one could be pushing harder, the other might be pushing a little lighter.
Right.
But the activity still occurs. One side may have a lot of enthusiasm on the next push, and the other person might not. But guess what? The activity still happens.
Yep.
There's still harmony. You're both working together, but it takes into consideration the fact that it's never equal. Yeah. It might, there are times when it's not equal. I love that.
Yeah.
And the beauty of the teeter-totter is you do have that moment when you're balanced. It's a moment. And then you're going up or you're going back down. But you always have that lovely moment when it's just like, boop, everybody's happy. And then we go up. And then we go down, But it's just...
there's acceptance to that also.
Yeah.
So the one article I found, this Dr. Ivan Meisner, I'm going to assume, is he talks about that, in suggesting striving for harmony, it's more than just semantics, that it's a different way of looking at life, that is, you're creating a life that is in harmony with your values and your vision of who you are and what you want to do. And then he brings up the idea that even the symbol for harmony, the yin and yang, is out of balance if you look at each piece separately, right?
Yeah.
They are not balanced pieces, but together they create harmony. And I liked one of his little, some of his little keys to living in harmony is, when you're 7 years old, you're not going to wish you spent more time at the office. Which I thought was just great. I'm like, all right, keeping that one.
Yeah.
But that I like the the example of the yin and yang also as that idea that each side is not necessarily a balanced shape. And that is reflective of our lives, that at some times in our lives, we focus more on the thing that meets our values and visions at that time.
Yeah.
But you could do it in harmony.
Yeah.
Because let's just say never. I don't like to use absolutes. I rarely succeed when I give everything a little.
Yeah.
I tend to succeed when I kind of throw my energy into something.
Right.
Yep.
And go for it, especially if it's a goal or something that I really want.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you never hear motivational speakers talking about, hey, get up there every day you go in and blah, blah, blah. You make sure you give it that 10%.
That equal, you make sure you give it that equal 20% that you're giving the other 4 things.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Never heard at the motivational speaker event.
Yeah.
Well, I think the whole key to the harmony is you don't say no. You say when. So, it's like you didn't say to your friends, no, I don't have time for you.
Yeah.
You said, this moment I need to focus on this, but this moment I will be able to focus 100% on you. This will be your time. And that's the beauty of the harmony, is you're not cutting things out of your life. You're not stopping doing one piece that you love to do, but just don't have time for, so you're going to cut it completely out. That's not the object either. The object is to have a fulfilled and well-rounded life and do many different things. Yeah. But you don't have to do them all at once.
That's the key there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you want to focus, is like, okay, this week's really important at work. I have these projects that are due. I have all these deadlines. I am going to focus on this. But I tell you what, kids, next week I will take a vacation day, and that'll be your day. And we will do whatever you want on that vacation day once all this hard work is over. So it's finding that, it's not the no's, it's the when's. It's like, let's schedule our lives better so that we know when and have things to look forward to, and we can plan and anticipate. This world today, we do not have any clue what anticipation is, because everything is right now or instant, or we have to do it, or we don't know what anticipation does. That's a wonderful feeling, anticipating something good. So if we can put things out there, put it on the calendar. This is your day. I'm 100% yours this day.
Yeah.
I'm good. This is going to be my day for this, and schedule it so that it's coming. Circle it on the calendar, and then everybody can enjoy the anticipation of leading up to this. This is my time. Not trying to pull mom from the phone, not trying to pull mom or dad from the game or from the work computer or from doing dishes or doing, not trying to pull yourself in all these different directions. Just fully 100% commit and give all of yourself to this person, to this task.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it is you're talking about being in the moment. And that's one of the things that the Dr. Ivan Misner talks about is be here now. What you're doing, because when we try to strive for balance, like he talks about just the scales of justice where everything is perfect, it's not reasonable. It's not. Most people fail at that, and what ends up happening is it's an example of attempting to compartmentalize one's life into these sections. And he talks about harmony creates synergy between the things you love to do. Balance doesn't necessarily. It's about looking at each little thing as its own little entity, and okay, now I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and they all have to, and it's just not reasonable. How can you be, if you're so focused on keeping things in a certain in a balance on the scale, how is that enjoyable? How is that being in the moment? I just don't see how it could be, and that's why as soon as John said it, I was like, this is the truth.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the truth. This is where we can't, like, just to kind of to also come full circle on this. once my gigs were done, I gave myself a week of not doing anything.
Mhm.
I didn't go rushing right back into working on the album. I said, nope. This week I'm going to play some video games. This week I am going to come home and watch the TV shows I haven't been, that I've got the streaming shows that are waiting for me that I want to get caught up on.
Right.
And I did that for that week. I basically worked and relaxed.
Yeah.
And it was great. And I didn't feel bad about what I wasn't doing. Because like you said, there's a when for that.
Just getting to that when and making sure you hold to it. Because if we're not careful, we'll do the slide and we'll just keep pushing that when back and pushing that when back and pushing that when back.
Well,
and that when becomes a never.
Doesn't that happen more often when you're trying to juggle all the balls at the same time and you're failing miserably?
Yeah.
It's so much easier to blow something off at that time because why? I'm so frustrated. I'm trying to balance everything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to juggle all these things at once. Well, nobody asked you to.
Yeah. Well,
most of the time, nobody asked you to.
And also a lot of times,
Very
like
true.
when you're, like you said, when you're trying to juggle all that stuff, you're so focused on, the success of it. And you have to,
and you're going to fail.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yep. So, and then you need more time to do each thing. And you like you said, you keep shoving stuff off because you're, I don't have time for that right now. I have 1,000,001 things on my plate. And it was like, okay, but you'd have a better success rate if you just put one thing on your plate and then the next thing and then the next thing instead of all the things at one time.
Yeah.
Life doesn't have to be a buffet, Yeah.
And I feel better about myself the way I've been kind of doing stuff lately. I feel that I'm getting more done. Is my timeline work with everyone else's timeline? Nope. But like we talk about, it's all about serving that ball over the net and waiting for them to send it back. And, it's not, I can't control that.
Yeah.
It's an exchange, and I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to say no. I don't have time for that this week. And are they upset about that? I'm sure a little bit because they're excited about doing something.
Yeah.
But more times than not, because I'm upfront and I'm honest and I address it, in a way that it's I'm being clear about it. I'm not I'm not leading anybody on. They accept it, and it's typically like, all right, cool, good luck. And then, I see my friend at the show, come and see us play. It's like awesome. So, and we're going to get together this Friday, and we're going to work on some music.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Right. It makes sense because you're like Jen said a little while ago, it's like you're not telling the person no, so they don't feel like you're completely blowing them off. You're just saying, I can't right now, but I will. And especially if you give them something that feels like a tangible timeline, versus just, someday we'll get around to it. And then it's,
that's most people, like where I know one of my liabilities is not being direct with people, not being clear. And that's frustrating.
Yeah.
I have a history of being frustrating in this way, horribly frustrating.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't want to, it's usually has nothing. It's me assuming about how the other person's going to feel.
Yeah.
If I'm just honest.
Yeah.
And I'm usually wrong about that. Like all they would say, all you had to do is communicate with me. I was good with either decision. Just let me know.
Right.
And there I go. All right, here I go. Here Hannah goes again.
Yeah.
I have a lifelong track record of doing that. And it's funny when I don't do that, things go better. My relationships are better. It's like, but like all these things, if we're not, complacency, next thing you know, I'm slipping again.
Right.
And I'm disappointing people.
Yep.
It's so much more fun to not be disappointing.
Right. So, Henno, this is are you saying that communicating with people is a way to keep them from being disappointed and keep a situation in a healthier spot?
Yeah, would that be somewhere on a distorted thinking list?
This feels like groundbreaking stuff you're getting into here. I don't think anyone's ever talked about this before. Yeah. clearly made up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do remember someone saying that when the rules change, you have to inform all parties.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Yep.
Does.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, guys, what do you think? We good?
Yeah. Unless Henno's got more there.
I you just reminded me something that when you were asking the three things that I like to say, does it need to be said? Does it need to be said right now? Does it need to be said right now by me? And is it true? Is it kind? Is it helpful? All those kind of things.
Yeah.
And I found a list of 5 that had that is a little bit a little bit different. So I was quick, like, what was the thing that I found? Because Jen talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Thus proving that I do listen to the episodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I'm not on.
Yeah. And one of the ones I'd love to add to that is, will this get me to where I want to go? It's like, will this further my goals?
No.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. Before you speak, think. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? And I like the inspiring.
That is a nice one. I like that one too.
Right?
Yeah.
It is because there's something about that's just to me, it's a high bar.
Yeah.
I'm going to open my mouth. Is what I have to say inspiring at all?
Yeah.
So that's my new one. Before you speak, think.
I like it.
I don't know. That sounds like too much work. Thinking before you speak?
Yeah, I know. Really? Before we end the show, since we are coming on the July 4th holiday, we give this message every year that I feel it's important that we still give it every year, which is while you're out having fun with the fireworks and enjoying your friends and family, please keep in mind that there are a lot of veterans, a lot of people with PTSD, a lot of dogs that are really scared of the loud noises and the strangeness of the day in the evening. Please keep them in mind. I'm not saying don't have fun and don't enjoy yourselves, because I love fireworks too. But try to keep them out of the backyard and at the public events. Because if it's at a public event, the veterans, the PTSD sufferers, people who have very anxious dogs, they won't go. But if they're in their house and you're setting off fireworks next to their house, they're probably in the basement with earphones on, hiding, cuddled up in a corner. That's miserable. Don't do that to another person.
Right.
So please be safe. Start the day with all your fingers and leave the day with all your fingers, please. And enjoy yourself. Have a hot dog. Wear your red, white, and blue. And remember, those that allow us to wear that red, white, and blue may be suffering. So take care of them too.
Walmart?
No.
Oh.
Yes, Walmart.
Yeah.
All right, folks. With that, we covered an absolute ton of information on this show today. And we would love to hear what you have to say, your thoughts, your opinions, your constructive criticism. Note the constructive part. And just basically talk with us. We love talking to you, so come talk to us. And how, you may ask, can you do this? Easy. You can reach us on the crazylifepodcast.weebly.com, which is our website. The crazylifepodcast@outlook.com is our email address. If you would like to reach me, you can reach me through Facebook. Just title it Jen, or an email sent, put Jen on it, and I make sure I
with
get
the
it.
G.
Yeah.
G-Jen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
if they
G-Gen.
send it to one of our email addresses and they address it with the J, never going to get to me. We don't know who the heck they're talking about.
Unless you spell it J-G-E-N, then I absolutely would.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Because that's just ridiculous.
Nice.
Jen.
G-Gen,
Jen.
Jen.
You can find me at Instagram and Facebook and Messenger at Henno Heiter. And if you're into movie podcasts, you can check out my other podcast, Moving the Needle, where I'm still, in my Harmony, I'm almost ready to edit the Unwatchables, so that should be out next week, I guess.
The way you said that, I thought you said unwashables.
Yes, they are unwashable as well as unwatchable. And we recorded, actually last night was Cloak and Dagger from 1984.
Okay.
And it was, I'd actually never seen it, and it was something. It was one of those movies where it was for Sean. Sean saw this in the theater when he was like 8 or 9, and it was like the most amazing thing ever. But I would have been 15 at the time, and like I wasn't that interested in this. So it was again. I'm finding moving the needle. Some of these movies, we have more fun doing the podcast than we do watching the movies.
Yeah,
and here's the bonus to you listeners: is the podcast is only an hour. The movie was over an hour.
Oh man! Oh, that movie. Okay.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's with Henry Thomas from E.T.
Dabney Coleman. Yep.
Yeah, Dabney Coleman.
You know,
it was actually fun.
I completely forgot that what's his nuts from E.T. was in it. And because I was thinking, I was close on the box for it or the poster or whatever. Like I was like, I'm pretty sure it had Dabney Coleman in it. So All right.
So that'll be out in a few weeks.
Wow. That'll be fun. All right. Well, if you want to find me on social media, you can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Stunami. You can find my other podcast at Salty Language or Salty_language on Twitter. Sorry. Or at saltylanguage.com. Show's not safe for work, so please be careful when listening. This week we talked about, what did we talk about? Arizona Iced Tea, Velveeta Nail Polish, Obi-Wan season or series, I don't know which yet, finale, Scareglow from He-Man, a monkey in a bulletproof vest. That was a very sad story. A whole bunch of other weird stuff. So if you're into that, please give us a listen. And again, not safe for work. So, ye be warned. Sorry, I opened up the wrong thing here for my list. So, yeah.
Technical difficulties.
Well, when we do the show every week, I get to where I kind of don't need the list. But when we start doing it every other or every 3 weeks or like, it's a little harder to remember sometimes. You can also find this show on Twitter at The Crazy Life Pod, where I post when new episodes go up. But if you're already subscribed, you don't need that anyway. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/Crazy Life Podcast. We're part of the Tangent Bound Network, which can be found at tangentboundnetwork.com. So please go check out the other shows there. Looking. Oh, I think that's all the links. And of course, if you're in a position that you need help, please reach out. It's really difficult. We all have been there. We know how tough it is. There's people out there that are willing to help. So please be patient and just reach out if you can. And same message, if you're reaching out to somebody, is also please be patient and be kind. And then, that leads right into the other, which is please be nice to someone. And actually, I want to, or please be nice to people, not just one person, but, and help when you can. I wanted to say this because, Jen, how you always talk about if you have a compliment for somebody, how you just pay it to them. And I did that twice today, actually. And I don't know why, because I'm usually not necessarily that person. Mm-hmm. But I was in a Walgreens today, and this woman was just rocking this, like, super, like, sequin, red, white, and blue, like, fedora. The woman working there. And I was just like, I dig your hat. And she was like, thank you so much, And the other woman that was standing there, she's just shaking her head. And it was just like, it was like, she doesn't get it, But, and then the other was, I was in a Target, and I saw, and this is a shirt I've wanted for myself anyway, but I finally saw one in the wild, which was a woman. It's just got Sophia from Golden Girls on it, and it's a black shirt with white on it, and it's just a savage above it. And I want one of those so bad, but I can't find one in my size that doesn't look like it's like bootleg or some off, type one. So, I told the young lady wearing that I loved her shirt, which is always risky for a guy because, we all know when a guy tells a woman that he loves her shirt, it's, many times it's code for something that has to do with her chest meats. So, but I really did like the shirt, and I told her, I was like, I love the Golden Girls. And,
Well, it got paid forward to me doing that all over these years.
Yeah.
Last week I had to wear a bunch of sundresses and things
like
to work because I had
all
events.
At once? You were wearing like 5 or 6 of them, or?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I pretty much wore a sundress every day last week.
Wow.
And as you know, Brian, that is not my style usually. Yeah. But after after a day or two, people kept stopping me to tell me how much they love the dresses that I've been wearing. And they're like, I just, that blue dress was great. And you just look so nice and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's lovely. Do I look like junk every other day? But, it's.
There's
nice
the sabotage.
The sabotage coming out.
Yep.
But it's nice to feel that coming back to me because I just give it out so freely. It's just, and when it comes back, it's like, oh, this does feel good. Okay, I got to keep doing this because this really. It just reinforces how important that is.
Yeah. And it did. Even just telling that and seeing the people smile about it was, was a nice feeling. So I just wanted to put that out there for everybody to, go spread joy. And we're laughing as we watch Henno almost get his face licked. Or was getting his face licked.
That was licked.
Okay. I couldn't quite tell, so I didn't want to.
In audience, you're
just booted.
What an odd series of events.
In audience, you are 100% correct. Henno does have an amazingly hot wife.
Yes, I do have an amazingly hot wife.
Mm-hmm.
and a cute dog.
Yes.
Just one, though. You pick which one.
Yeah, you pick the one that you want.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Brian, do you have anything else?
No, that was it.
So. We're good.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Then the final wrap up, folks. As a reminder, fireworks, be safe, pay attention where you're at, take care of each other, and have a great time. This is a great nation, even though we're going through some really crazy, messed up stuff right now. But it is a great nation, and we need to celebrate it, and we need to celebrate it together. So go out there, have a great week, and make it the best week you can make it. Have a great one, and we will see you soon. Bye.